all the sand goes to the bottom, then it's over.
What worked for me is I have a way of, or a certain persona that I've had since, that I developed, and which probably I refined in 1971, that I was using in elementary school, high school, college. I've just been developing it my whole life, and that's it. And I have a lot of people that say, well, what are you going to do, or what's your strategy for the future? And I think, keep trying to develop this thing that I've been doing,
right,
and take it to the next step. And that's all I can do, really. I mean, I have, the cat's out of the bag. I mean, there's 2,300 hours of footage of me trying to entertain people. Yes. We more or less know what it is that
you do,
that I do,
and we know it works or didn't work, and now we know it works.
Right, right. Yeah. I hope.
Well, of course it does. But there is also this: you in the beginning, you didn't want to watch other people, like Letterman, say, because you want to make sure, and actors are this way, whatever he was doing was not creeping into your show.
Yeah.
Now that it's out there, and now that your instincts are such that you can do that now. You can watch other people without worrying that you're going to do their act. Yeah,
I can. I still find that I don't, when I come home at night, my wife wants to watch TV, she's always saying, let's watch this comedy or that comedy. Well, the last thing I feel like doing when I come home is, I want to watch the Germans invade Poland. I want to watch Mussolini strung up by his heels. I want to watch very dark historical. And the stuff I read is, I'm always reading the, biography of Jackson or anything that's as completely removed from what I do for a living as possible. But yeah, I don't obsessively watch other people. That doesn't help me. That doesn't give me any kind of creative insight. I like to see what other people are doing and admire it, or say, gee, I don't know, I'm not wild about that. But in general, I don't love to sort of obsessively study other people, because it doesn't do anything for me. I feel like.
But do you learn from watching yourself, or do you think it's somewhere now that it wasn't, say, 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
I don't know. I'm pretty self-critical, and I don't enjoy. I mostly don't enjoy watching myself. I just tend to see. I tend to see what could be better. I mean,
like the timing.
I just look at the timing, and every now and then, if something's really good, I like it. But it's usually a dead-end proposition, because there's an 80% chance I won't like it as much as I thought I was going to, and then I'll get into a funk. And so I'm sort of screwed either way. It's hard for me just to watch.
Hosting The Tonight Show was the dream?
I can't really say it was the dream, because it seemed so. It was so much out of my power that I don't like to. Maybe I don't want to. I don't know if this is a Catholic instinct or not. I don't tend to want things that maybe I can't have. You know what I mean? Or that maybe aren't within my grasp. I don't want to get my expectations up. I don't want to want something too much that maybe not be possible. So I think for so many years, I just worried about doing a good late night show. I didn't think about it that much, and I didn't really know if the timing was going to work out for me. Do you know what I mean? It's a little like becoming Pope. It's very hard to.
The other guy's got to die.
Or exactly. I mean, hope not. But you know what I mean? It's very hard to have a plan to be Pope.
Yeah,
I know. I had one, and it hasn't happened. So.
And it's unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
There is also this. Your contract was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what made it happen? Because they knew Fox was preparing just to back up the truck and dump a lot of money to get you to come over, and so they said, "Look, we don't want you to go. What would it take to keep you?"
I think, the go-around with Fox had happened already once, and I had resisted the truck full of money, and it was a truck.
Yes, it was a big truck, according to what I hear.
Yeah.
Much bigger truck that NBC had been dumping into your...
It's not a good way to carry money around, first of all. A lot of coins and money were flying out of the truck. They need to cover the truck with a tarp. But I don't know, I was always mindful that what I would like to do when I had this go-around with Fox, and I thought about it, I knew that it meant a lot to me to have my career stay at NBC. I have a body of work that I've, which can sound highfalutin, but this is what I've, you only get one life, and like it or not, I've put my life into doing this show, and I've put everything into it. I've put my bone marrow into doing this show. I have sweated over this show, and over 13 years, I've put everything into it, and I was very mindful of the fact that if I jumped to another network, I'm leaving all that material behind. I'd have no access to it. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
That if they ever did a retrospective and they decided to show some of my work, I wouldn't even be in on the conversation. But I remember thinking it would be really nice if my whole career could somehow be at NBC. Wouldn't that be terrific? Because I would look at all the work as one piece.
I wonder if that happened to David when he went to CBS.
It's funny because I had that way in the back of my head. I mean, I don't know the man well. I've talked to him, a number of times over the years. He's always been extremely, nice and gracious to me. But I was mindful of the fact that when we did a special, 50 Years of NBC Late Night, as a courtesy, I contacted Carson. This is a number of years ago. I contacted Carson. I contacted Leno. I contacted Dave. Jack Parr, Steve Allen, contacted all these people to show them what the clips would be to make sure that they were okay with it. And I remember it occurring to me that, this was strange that Dave had to rely on me to send the tape over. Do you know what I mean? Which I thought, I just feel like he should be
stay at the same place.
He should, and I feel like he should have say over, that's the work he did. He was there. He should have some power over how that work is shown or seen, and that's just, I guess corporate America doesn't work that way. So, I don't know, I was mindful that that meant something to me, and that's something that, I don't know, maybe most hosts in my position wouldn't be thinking about that.
Yeah.
But I always flash forward to me in 2030, sitting in an empty room in the attic, in a T-shirt, watching tapes of my show and drinking scotch out of a golf shoe, and I'm there and I'm looking at my tapes, and I just want to know that I can get them.
Yes, they're yours, and you can see them whenever you want to.
I can see them whenever I want.
Other than having to call up.
Why am I drinking scotch out of a golf shoe? That's.
Johnny Carson called you 2 or 3 months before he died?
Yeah, he didn't. It was. Believe, because I want to get this right, that I think it started because right after it was announced, about a week or two went by, and I believe that my producer Jeff Ross was talking to Jeff Sotzing,
right.
And mentioned that.
Who is Jeff Sotzing?
Jeff Sotzing runs Carson Productions,
right.
And mentioned that Conan would be thrilled to talk to Johnny, and I don't want to impose all that. I don't want to try and solicit a phone call if Johnny Carson doesn't want to do that. But Jeff Sotzing said, I'll run it by Johnny, and the next thing I know, I'm on the phone with Johnny Carson. This would be in, I think, early October of '04.
Yeah.
That's right. It was not long before he passed away.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me, very surprising to me in retrospect, because he sounded great. His voice was a little different, but sharp, extremely sharp, and he was terrific.
And what was the conversation about?
You, primarily.
Yes, he said.
He said a lot of stuff.
When is he going to change his set?
Yeah, he just doesn't think the table's working. No, the conversation was. The things that stand out in my head is he called me kiddo, which was and I said I would do my best to take care of the franchise. I said I really try and take care of the franchise, and he said, pretty good franchise, isn't it? Sort of proudly, I think, but sort of also he had a bit of a. What's nice is that so many people have elevated him, put him on this sort of, given him this, put him on a giant marble pedestal. Which is correct, but at the same time, I think I get the feeling Carson, what little I know about him, would have been impatient with that, because he was very practical talking about The Tonight Show, and he was talking. I've said this a few times, but he was talking to me as if I had just purchased a Plymouth Valiant, a 1966 Plymouth Valiant that he used to own.
Yeah.
And he was